Mike Ward with Live Explorer Real Estate. I'm here with Ryan Burk, lifelong entrepreneur and owner of the WFS Group. And this is the Ward Report. What's up, player?
What's up, Mikey?
How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. We're going to go right into true or false.
Really?
Oh, yeah. That's the
Okay.
surprise. That's the surprise aspect of this podcast that no one knows about. There's three true or falses that we're going to break the ice with.
Oh,
You ready?
let's go, bro.
First one's going to be challenging for you. First one, I probably took 20 to 30 minutes to formulate this question, and it's going to put you in a moral quandary. I'm going to see if you can get through it. You're about to get married on a beach in Malpais at 1 o'clock. At 11:30, a swell rolls in. Wind switch to offshore. Locals say it's the perfect time at 1. By 12:15, there's more lines and barrels than you've ever seen in your life. Ryan Burk pushes back the ceremony by 1 hour to surf with his buddies. True or false?
It's just a one word. There's no explanation.
No
around
explanation. True or false? We can go into explanation afterwards. Actually, sometimes it does.
I'm gonna go true.
Respect.
I'm gonna go true, but I'm gonna go for a couple reasons.
Okay.
Because I know my wife would be okay with it.
She would.
She would be 100%
She's a
okay
wonderful
with it,
woman.
eh? Our ceremony did get pushed back.
Did it?
Because there was a lot of people. We were in Mexico. We got married in Mexico, and there was a lot of people just kind of taking shots and getting prepared for the wedding and this whole thing. So to get it pushed back, but it would be the whole wedding party.
Totally.
The whole wedding party would be out in the water anyways, and I think that would be kind of good synergy leading into the actual wedding.
And that's the dynamic, right? You know half your buddies there surf. Some swells are once in a lifetime, which we got, I feel. One of the once in a lifetime swells that I got was the Witch's Rock swell.
100%.
When we were on a boat and we were going out to what was that called? It was the hidden island.
I think it was Isla Exclusivo.
Yeah, which you guys made up, right? That was and we're coming, and Witchers was totally blown out. And then we're coming back, no one on it, wind switches, 2 feet overhead, just us.
Yeah.
For an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah.
Saw you get one of the better barrels I've ever seen anyone get. That was the wave of the trip.
That was.
Yeah.
That was fun.
All right.
Yeah. That's what's cool about Costa Rica, right? It's all about the tides. It's like the push and pull of the tides, and literally can go from, that's why they call it supposedly Witch's Rock too, because it can go from being flat to just insane within a couple hours, and it's like just all the energy of the witches, they say, that kind of bring those swells out of nowhere.
And so quickly. That's the fastest
quickly.
tide that I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
In terms of the speed where it goes up and goes down. Number 2, in 2003, when you lived in Huntington Beach, had a legendary soul patch and were 5'9" and 180 pounds, or 90 pounds maybe, of pure muscle. You once coined the popular phrase, write that down.
That's true.
That is true. You're 2 for 2 right now. You get the third, you go in bonus questions. One should always, without question, do their own research.
100% true.
3 for 3, dude. We're going bonus.
Give yourself the gift of curiosity. Do
We're
your own
going
research.
bonus. All right. We're done with true and falses. Into bonus. You were shipwrecked on an island with a record player powered by the sun. You get one vinyl record for eternity. What would that album be? It's a hard question. I know what genre you're going to go with, and I know what time period, but I don't know what album.
Interesting. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna actually go. I might go a different direction than you're thinking with this.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna go Ayaterra.
Oh.
I'm gonna go with an Ayaterra.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's not what I would think.
What were you thinking?
I would think 99 to 2001, like punk.
Really?
Yeah, like pop, like early Blink, or like something like that. Because that was the peak. Let's be honest. Like those were the days, and usually you connect it with a memory.
Well, what's funny is that the lead singer for Ayaterra came out with an album that was like pop punk gone reggae.
Yeah.
About 5 months ago. So all those songs that you're thinking about, all redone in reggae version.
Really?
Ayaterra style, yeah.
What's it called? What's the album called?
It's called Pop Punk on Reggae.
And I don't even know who Ayaterra is. And
They're really good. Really
good
reggae
where are they
band.
from?
L.A.
Okay.
Really good reggae band. There's actually, I think there's an actual Blink cover on there too.
Younger band, or they've been around for a while?
Probably like 6-7 years.
Okay.
It's kind of falls in that Cali reggae genre is what they call it.
And why are you choosing that album? Like, what about that album would you not get sick of over the next 50 years? Like,
obviously I like reggae. I like,
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in, feeding your brain with good positive things, and just the lyrics are always really good and positive. And when you're listening to music, what you don't realize, your subconscious mind is you're singing it over and over again in the background, and that becomes part of your field that you're putting out there and what you're attracting. So if you're constantly singing verses that have to do with just really positive, kind of abundant type scenarios,
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer in that. That's one thing. There's some really cool, because he's like, it's kind of an interesting scenario, because he's really into like heavy metal type stuff too.
Yeah.
But then he went reggae, so he's got some pretty cool guitar riffs
Yeah.
in these reggae songs.
I'll check them out.
Yeah.
Well, that's a two-layered answer. So not only is it a good album that you wouldn't get sick of, but it also, because you're on the island by yourself, you're getting that positivity over and over again.
I'm staying
You're
positive.
building a 7-layer dip right now.
Someone's gonna come find me. I'm staying positive, bro.
I love it. Last one. No, two more. You're on a 30-day juice cleanse, which you might do. No one else I've asked this question to would probably do a 30-day juice cleanse. You might challenge that. What's the last meal you eat before you go on that cleanse? And you can draw it from all different areas. You can cook it yourself. You can get it from 4 restaurants, whatever it is, like your death row meal. Like,
I'm going to go, I'd probably go with like just a massive meat platter with all different kinds of meat. There'd be some brisket on there. There'd be some sausage on there.
Yeah.
There'd be some, probably some steak on there, some filet.
you cooking, or are you getting it from like Stark's?
No, I'll cook it.
You're cooking it.
Oh, yeah.
Full control, last meal.
Full control last meal.
How you doing the brisket? You smoking it, or yeah? Do you have a smoker?
I don't.
I think that you'd be into that apparatus.
Yeah.
Because you're primarily carnivore
Yeah, animal based.
and have been for a long time, and have seen huge effects from that. We'll get into kind of health and lifestyle, but how long have you been in? 1 year? Where you made the switch?
Probably about a year, full animal based without mixing. Before I was kind of animal based, but I was still mixing in a bunch of rice and stuff like that. But yeah, probably about a year.
Looking damn good. Results are there.
Thanks, buddy.
You can live without working in any city for 6 months. Where is it and why? That's the last question before we go into the podcast stuff.
That's gonna go. I'm going back to Costa Rica.
Yeah, me too.
I'm probably going to Nosara.
Okay. Why no Sarah?
No, sorry. It's such a cool little. It's such a really good vibe. Obviously, Costa Rica has the whole Pura Vida vibe, which is pure life in general. But it's just like a cool little surf yoga town. It's not super overpopulated. It's not extremely crowded. And they're really conscious about the food and the ingredients that they're putting in the food. Mm-hmm. And then the surf break there is actually one of the most consistent spots in the world.
Is Nosara south or north of Tamarindo? South.
South.
How far? Because I've never been to. That's the one place I haven't been on that Pacific side.
So if you fly into Liberia, it's like a 2.5 hour drive.
So
Not
going
bad.
towards, in between, do you cross the river at where's the ferry ride there? You know when you go from Jaco up, you got to Punta Arena, I think that is.
No, you don't go down that far at all.
Okay.
It's because I think it's probably about 4 hours just to get to that spot from Liberia, right? So
yeah.
It's like halfway.
Yeah. And is it more Tamarindo-esque or is it more Malpais-esque? Is it a little more rootsy?
Way more rootsy.
Yeah.
And it's actually, there's quite a bit of dirt road to get there. So
That's
I think
the
that
best.
keeps a lot of people,
Oh, it's the best.
people out, right?
We went in 98, me and my brother, month and a half, 2 months. And then we went back when we took our trip, when I met up with you after them. And from 98 to 2012, is that when we went? Right around that? Mm-hmm. That 14-year difference, it was 2 different cities.
Oh, yeah.
Tamarindo didn't have a second story when we were there in 98. And then we come back and it's fully paved, resorts. But, that was Hotel Dolly before they put that big resort on the beach. That was like, literally, we had pictures of our shower. It was a white piece of PVC that came off a wall that dribbled water. And then all of a sudden, it's this like 4-star resort. Like, Costa Rica blew up.
It blew up.
As it should have. It's a beautiful place.
Such an amazing place. And there's still so much unexplored area as well. And
Yeah.
there's so many places I still want to go and check out.
Where would be the next for you?
I want to go check out Uvita. It's a spot called Uvita.
Where's that? Other side?
No. No, I'm not. I'm not really good with directions, but I don't know exactly where it is. But I think it's still in the Guanacaste region.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is. In those forests, and when you go into Arnall and you do all, have you been to Arnall?
Mm-mm.
It's one of the cooler experiences, me and Joe, because you see an active volcano, you sit in these natural hot springs. All the resorts around it have these natural pools that you just hang out in and eat food, drink beers, watch like literally lava coming down the sides. It's out of a movie, but worth a trip, especially with a family. Your kids would love it.
Sounds great.
All right, well, tell me
Sounds amazing.
It is. It is. Tell me the path, man. Like I've known you since since '09, I would think, when I came back up here. Always been a lifelong entrepreneur.
Met you at 24-Hour Fitness.
Is that where we met for the first time?
That's where we met for the first time.
Was that
across the street?
Before Shannon introduced us? Did we meet?
No,
Okay.
She saw you there. And
Yeah,
she's like,
yeah.
Oh, Mikey is my homie from school.
I just moved back.
Yeah.
From San Diego, or we're probably close to it, about a year or two.
Yeah.
But from the moment I met you, right? Like you've always been on this path of entrepreneurship, always. I mean, whatever job you're with, every conversation we've ever had, there's always been this like linear drive forward for you in sales and building businesses, always. And it's led you to where you are now in your new CEO position. So just give me a little blueprint of like how you got there, like from Huntington on, right? Because that's kind of was that your first sales gig? Was timeshare?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was even before Huntington, before I ended up down in Huntington. But it's interesting because I kind of started my entrepreneurial journey right when I met you.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I was coming out of the W-2 world.
Okay.
So it kind of, I mean, I think it's important to let everyone know, all the listeners know that. So first off, just to kind of frame it and then go back, WFS is a done-for-you sales agency, right? Yeah. So everything, it's sales everything, sales operations, sales operating systems. So it's all sales in general, right? And so I've been in sales for, it's crazy to say, almost 30 years now, right? And it all started when I was 19 years old. I was driving pizzas, working at a surf shop.
Yeah.
I remember I was in like $3,000 or $4,000 debt, and that seemed like so much money. In my mind, I literally thought, I remember I borrowed $3 or $4 grand from someone, and in my mind, I thought, there's no way I'll ever be able to pay this back.
That's a lot of money in '97.
Yeah, I literally thought there's no way I'll ever pay this back. So yeah, driving pizzas, working at a surf shop, driving this VW Bug that I bought that was I bought it for $500. You couldn't make left-hand turns because it was so dented in on that side that the wheel well would rub.
Yeah.
So you had to go really slow on those left-hand turns. Right-hand turns, you could whip it.
Yeah.
Left, you couldn't really do much with it. And my sister ended up getting a job with the timeshare company.
Okay.
And it was kind of one of those scenarios where she was like, man, you'd love this. All you do is talk about vacations and this and that. You don't have to be at work till 4 o'clock. Every day and this and that. And she had just made like $10,000 her second month or third month in.
Wow.
And
big
to
money.
me, that was huge money at that time. So I was like, man, yeah, I'll check it out. So I ended up working there while driving pizzas and working at a surf shop, working 3 jobs. And then
let me ask you one question on that. When you walked in that first job, was it a natural fit immediately, or was it something you had to work on, you had to become better at? Like, did you have the personality and just the natural gift to sell, or did you sit back and observe and become better the longer you were at that job?
I mean, I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, yeah, definitely always. I mean, I'm very into personal development and personal growth and getting better and really, for me, like really my biggest secret to success is I'm probably one of the biggest copycats that I know. Yeah. So I'll find someone that's in a position or has something that I want, and I'll figure out exactly what did they do to get that, and I'll just copy it. I'll just do the same exact thing. So I think, there was a lot of training involved, but I had the natural raw ability. I've always had the natural raw ability. I've always loved people, connecting, things like that. If you ask my mom, she'll tell you I was closing her on why I'm not going to do the dishes.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
totally.
And things like that.
Totally.
So I think I've always kind of had that personality type. But so my third month, I ended up making $15,000, and money. That was huge money to me at the time. I could pay off the debt that I thought I was never going to be able to pay off. Right? That was huge money. Actually, it was so unrealistic that I ended up buying a ticket to Bali right after.
Off that month.
Yeah, right after, because I literally, in my mind, I'm like, there's no way this is ever happening to me ever again.
So I'm taking the opportunity.
Yeah, because I always wanted to go to Indo and go on
yeah.
a surf trip, and my buddies were going.
Yeah.
So I ended up going, came back, and then, just put my head down and started growing within that organization. And over a period of about a decade, I got to the top position. I was regional director of sales for Southern California. So I was overseeing about 250 people. And really,
at what age?
I was about at that. I think I was 24 or 25.
So how do you handle that, right? You're 24. You're in it. You're going out with the boys on the weekends. You're having a good time, right?
Not just the weekends.
Yeah, every
night.
You've got money coming in. You're spending a bunch of money. How do you? So you started at 19. Was that 19 when you started, or 20? Mm-hmm. So 5 years later, you got 250 people underneath you. How's that transition for you mentally at that point? Are you fully aware of the responsibility you have for those 250 people, or are you you're living at that point?
I'm just living.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm just living at that point, man. I was, we weren't the smartest back then.
Who is at 24? No one is.
We weren't the smartest back then, just living. But yeah, was able to grow that organization tremendously from, about 600,000 a month to over 4 million a month, which was a pretty big revenue spike. Man, just got to the point where I was literally, I was working 60, 70 hours a week, building someone else's dream, making someone else wealthy, and feeling pretty unappreciated, while at the same time overseeing 250 adults, especially in timeshare. It's adult babysitting.
Yeah.
And literally, I was spending so much time in human resources, it was crazy, for things that I wasn't doing, but I had to take responsibility for, because it's,
your boys are doing it.
I oversaw it all, right?
And
it got to the point where it was just became a really stressful thing. That the really cool thing is that's where I met Shannon.
Yeah.
So I met my wife there, and we got to a point where we were like, man, how could we figure out how we could get some time freedom in our life, start having time freedom, but also make really good money doing it. And we'd always kind of wanted to get into real estate, right? And so that was kind of the goal. And so we ended up joining a real estate coaching program. We ended up, I think it was like $20,000 we put into this coaching program. Everyone told us we were crazy. It's never going to work. Why would you spend that much money, this and that? And we were just like, hey, we're doing it, right? Yeah. So we went all in. We did it. We immersed ourselves in the curriculum and the coaching, and we learned it. And then I was able to walk away. About a year and a half, I was able to walk away from that position and then just go full time into real estate investing.
Yeah.
And just really build that, right, over another probably decade, right?
And massive deals, right? When you were working on flips in Detroit and these other areas, you were doing 40, 50 houses at a time, right? Like
occasionally there was some So we did, our biggest transaction was 75, where we were able to acquire 75 really through a concept called wholesaling, right? Where we go to contracts, we have an equitable interest into those addresses, and we're in the buying position, and then we just sell our buying position to someone else. So they pay us to step aside and take over everything that we negotiated and close on the transaction. And so at that time, there was a ton of international investors that were coming in because Detroit had completely collapsed.
What year was this?
This was like 2008.
Oh, okay. So a couple years, 2-3 years after the crash.
I mean, it completely, it was collapsing, and that's when you heard, I don't know if you remember, like, you get a house for $1.
Totally, I do.
Get a house for $1 in
they're
Detroit.
doing urban farms because no one wanted the land. There's growing farms in the middle of the city. I do remember that,
Anyways, man, I got a lot of stories about spending some time out there. We ended up we started out in the wrong neighborhoods.
Oh, there's some of them out there too.
Oh yeah. Yeah. But then so in 2012, it was just, I just got sick and tired of running a business that was out of state, and just having that lack of control. And so that's when we decided to pivot and start doing all of our real estate here in Sonoma County.
Yeah.
And so that was in 2012. We flipped our first house on Keokuk.
I remember.
Matt lives in it.
Still lives there.
Yeah, Matt still lives there.
Best entry price on Keokuk since like 1930 probably.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So we flipped that house, and then, we just kept growing, doing more and more flips.
Yeah.
And then moved into Marin.
Yeah.
Moved into San Francisco, East Bay. And it kind of took off from there. At that same time that was growing, I also had a relationship where I got presented an opportunity to be a speaker and travel around the country and do these 3-day real estate investing seminars where we were selling $30,000 to $50,000 coaching.
Yeah.
Right, from stage. So I would teach over a period of 3 days, but also sell coaching, and so it got pretty stressful because for probably about 8-9 years, I was, we were probably flipping about 15 houses at a time constantly here locally, while at the same time I was traveling 40 weekends.
In a gnarly schedule. Like when they say road warrior, like that is a well-earned moniker.
Very gnarly schedule.
You're going out, to East Coast for the weekend, you're coming back, you get what, 2 days? And then you could go back out. Yeah, on another flight. So that wears you down.
Oh, yeah.
I did it a couple weekends, and I remember how smoked I was. And I can't imagine. And not only that, but you're having the energy to be on stage. Like you're in front of 500 people, 400, whatever.
100%.
Yeah.
And what's crazy, too, is in those positions, they pay to learn and consume over the weekend, and they're literally just sucking everything out of you.
Totally.
So it can get pretty draining.
Well, and then you come off stage, and then there's a line out the door to shake your hand and talk to you. And I remember thinking that. I remember sitting back and watching you and going like, dude, this guy just spoke 9 hours, and now he's going to shake hands and talk for another 45 minutes to an hour when all he wants to do is go get something to eat right now.
Totally.
So yeah, it was an energy suck.
But it was crazy to me. Like I did always like have an open heart with that, even though I was so tired, just because it was always so interesting to see how people were willing to just wait in line for so long just for that opportunity to shake my hand and talk to me. And in my mind, I'm like, why the hell would you want to shake my hand?
Totally.
Talk to me. I'm just some regular dude that learned how to do real estate, So I never took that for granted. I always thought that was pretty cool, and always kept my heart open, and always tried to just bring as much value as I could to anyone that I really could in those scenarios. And I was really grateful to be in that position, because as draining as it was, traveling around the country, speaking to 300 to 500 people at a time, like I was a huge part of a lot of people's catalysts and making a shift in their life and changing their financial future, and realizing that they can do more, they can have more, they can be more, they can give back more. And that was a pretty cool position to be in.
Yeah, and you were very approachable in that position. I think that was a cool thing where you were kind of known as Rye Guy, right? Which was this connection to the crowd of kind of being like, if I can do it, you can do it, right?
100%.
When people walked in. But you said about 5 or 10 minutes ago, you talked about your first coaching aspect that you went into, right? Where you paid this money and you went into coaching. You're a believer. I've known you for a long time. When you believe in something, you believe in, and you also are 100% on to being coached and open to being coached by someone who knows more than you. Why has that been such a driving force? And why do you have such a belief where a lot of people who have had success before are very shut off to being coached, right? Very shut off to being led. What is it in you that brings you back to being open to being coached and molded from people who do have more experience than you? Because it is something I see time and time again in your personality.
I mean, the simple answer is really, to me, time is the ultimate currency, right? And so a lot of people, certain people value money more than they value time.
Yeah.
I value time more than I value money. Money's not even real, right? It hasn't been real since 1933 when we removed ourselves from the gold standard, right? It's just currency. There's nothing real about it except your intention that you put behind it. And you can always make money. You can lose it. You can make it back. You can lose. You can make it back. You can always trade time to do that, but you can't get your time back, and you can't invest into time. So for me, time is the ultimate currency. And so for me, what I'm always looking at is, how do I shrink time frames to get to where I want to go? And it's always been investing into specific or specialized knowledge, or into coaching, or whatever it is. Someone that has a system in place, they're willing to allow me to leverage that system and ultimately get to that result. And so it's funny, because in school, I wasn't a good student at all. I barely graduated high school. I never went to college.
I don't doubt that.
Yeah. And I was always in trouble because I was always cheating, quote unquote. They called me a cheater, and my parents were always upset and these whole things. What's funny when I became an entrepreneur is I realized they don't call it cheating. No. They call it franchising.
They give you
or
a medal
they call
for
it or they call it having a mentor or collaboration, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm just all about shrinking time frames. And so that's why I've always been willing to invest. My wife and I have spent multiple six figures into coaching and coaching programs and growth and development and spiritual development and all these different things, which has allowed us to get to where we're at.
Has there ever been a negative experience in the coaching that you've paid into, or maybe that you felt like you didn't get what you paid into?
There was one time, but again, what's interesting about it, and to me, I always believe that life is happening for us, right? Mm-hmm. And if we can just let go of the rope and just try to flow and go with the flow as much as we can, there's always going to be good out of it. We joined one coaching program that wasn't what we expected it was going to be, but we met someone that was part of that community that we created a relationship with that ended up helping us take our real estate business to the next level in a different way. So even though the investment wasn't worth the actual coaching, the curriculum, this relationship that we got out of it was worth way more than we invested to be part of that program.
It's a positive outlook. So there was always something in everything you did.
Always something.
So you're speaking for Fortune Builders. You do that from what, 2012?
2000, 10 or 11 to 2020.
Okay. COVID hits.
So it's interesting because I had told the owners of Fortune Builders, and I was just an independent contractor, right? They independently contracted me to go do these events, and I had been scaling back. I wanted to get off the road. My kids were getting older. I wanted to, just be more present as a dad and a husband. And so I'd let them know, hey, I'm gonna tap out in about 6 months. So I just want to give you guys enough
before COVID
COVID
hit. Okay,
I was already planning on doing it. Yeah, before doing it. I actually got out before COVID hit and started my own thing. Right, started my own coaching program, my own real estate investing coaching program with one of my really good friends, Cole, who has a brand called the Thrive brand, and so we started this coaching mastermind type thing. It was called the Thrive Wealth Factory. And we started scaling that pretty fast, man. Revenue started coming in really fast. And then during that time, we randomly got introduced to like the biggest TV personality on HGTV, who had a show on HGTV for over 10 years with his wife flipping houses. Yeah. Right. And he wanted to start his own education company. We already had our education company in place. We had all the curriculum, we had all the systems, all the assets, all the SOPs, all of that stuff. So they created a deal with us to actually clone it all. But in essence, it was kind of a licensing deal, right? Clone everything we're doing, but now still keep this over here, but start this new organization over here and keep his face on it. Yeah. And so we ended up partnering up with this individual.
Pretty big name.
Very big name. Yeah. Yeah, very big name.
As was your first with Fortune Builders. The show they had.
They did have a show, but not
Flip This House.
Yeah, but it wasn't in the same way as like HGTV today,
it was
right?
Massive.
Like just massive. And so we started an education company with this individual, and same thing. We scaled it massively over a period of 2 years from scratch. And so this personality, this TV personality, he really is just a face on his businesses. He's not like an executor or the implementer or any of that stuff. He always has people that are doing that stuff for him. And specifically, he had a partner that pretty much ran all of his different businesses. Yeah. And so that's who I built this new education company with, and we became super tight. Pretty much like my younger brother, right?
Who you own WFS with?
I own WFS with
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah, so
he was part of the...
so he was part of that. So what happened was when we exited from that education company, it was kind of one of those things where we're like, well, what should we do now? Yeah. Right? What should we do? During that time, as soon as people found out we had exited, there's just a lot of gurus in the industry that just wanted some sales help. So they started coming to us. And WFS kind of started by accident. And after a couple months, we had 4 or 5 accounts. And then from there, we were like, wow, this is definitely, there's something here. The model it's just an insane model. There's not a ton of risk to it. The scalability is it's the most scalable model I've ever been part of. And so that's when we decided to go all in.
And what does it actually do? What is WFS?
So WFS it's a done-for-you sales agency. So imagine like a done-for-you digital marketing agency. What do? They do everything. So you're outsourcing all your marketing to this digital marketing agency. So for us, what we do is we work with organizations that want to scale their sales to 7 or multiple 7 figures a month. And they just don't have the operating systems in place. They don't have the management in place. They don't have the sales reps in place. They don't have the hiring, recruiting engines in place. They don't have the talk tracks in place. They don't have any of that stuff in place to be able to scale that way, and we do. So what happens is they hire us. We partner with that organization. We come in. We install their whole sales operating system. We recruit. We hire the reps.
Locally?
No, it's all virtual.
Everything
we do is virtual, which is...
So you don't go where the business is located and hire from that area. It's all things that can be done virtually from
all
anywhere,
things that can be done virtual, which actually from the hiring standpoint is insane because, for example, let's say you guys wanted to do something here. Well, we would only really probably have Petaluma to pull from to try to find top talent. But when you're going virtual, you have the whole country that's applying. So you can, it's just wide open. You have access to so much talent.
Yeah.
So that's been super solid. So we come in and we staff sales, we staff management, we consult on marketing, and then we get a piece of every sale.
Do you feel a lot of creatives who have these good ideas, these good businesses, don't usually have the component where they can also create systems for sales and efficiency within a company? Like you basically you find the creator, right, who has the idea, who has the widget, who has whatever, and then you implement the sales process around it. Do you ever find, people who are creators that have both, and you just need little tiny switches or changes to really get their business on high octane? Or a lot of times do they have that creation and they have the idea and they have no system? They have nothing at all. They're purely being fueled by the idea itself and not the system to sell it.
I think it's a little bit of both. It's been really interesting these last couple of years teaming up with some really big brands that from the outside looking in, you're like, man, these guys are insane. They're so good at what they do, and they're bringing in so much revenue. And you get under the hood, and you pull the curtain back, you're like, wow, this is a shit show. They don't have anything in place. It's amazing that they've been able to do this much revenue.
Yeah.
Right. So. There's just so much opportunity in the marketplace because every single business that exists has a product or service that they're selling. Sales is recession proof. Everyone's always going to need sales. And what's unique about our model as well is not only do we make a piece of every sale that happens, but we come in and we say, hey, look, your business is here. We're going to put a lot of bandwidth into it and we're going to scale this thing. We're basically going to run your company. At the end of the day, because from a sales standpoint and operating system standpoint, that's everything to the organization. But when we hit a period of 90 days where we do this, where we double your revenue over a period of 90 days, that means we just earned this amount of equity in your organization. And then we'll create a second threshold where when we triple your revenue that you're currently making now over a period of 90 days, then we get another piece of equity as well. And really, a lot of people look at the equity side as, oh man, that's cool because you have equity of other companies now, and that now you're taking distributions, right, from the profit and stuff like that. And really for us, the reason we came up with that model is really just more from a retention standpoint. It creates retention, right? Because once we earn that equity, now we're part of that business. And if they ever want to fire us, we have a profit interest, so they have to buy us out at a 2x multiple.
Interesting.
So it's a really cool retention tool. It also allows us to acquire equity in these organizations, which is now building our portfolio of companies, because everything we're doing right now, my partner Josh and I, is to sell this company.
Yes.
We're going to be exiting from this company in the next couple years. And so we're very strategic with every move we make. And from day one, we're building this thing to sell it, right? And so that's very, very important because a lot of people, there's a huge difference between being self-employed and being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Most people that are self-employed call themselves entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
but they're just a knowledgeable technician in something specific that created something and built themselves into something. And no matter how successful they are, no matter how much money they make, the money only shows up if they show up.
Yeah.
And if they decide to take time off, the money takes time off.
You've always told me that from the beginning is build yourself out.
Build yourself out.
And I can't even wrap my head around that concept because I'm such a control freak with business. But I can't tell you how many times, how many conversations we've had where you're like, you got to build yourself out, man.
You got to build
the
yourself
gym,
out.
with real, whatever it is.
Because at the end of the day, you don't have a real business.
Yeah.
If you don't, from a multiple standpoint.
Yeah.
The whole idea is the more valuable you are to your business, the less valuable your business is. If you have to show up in order for revenue to happen, then no one wants to buy your business. Because as soon as they buy your business and you're gone, what's going to happen to revenue?
Yeah.
Right? And so the whole idea is you have to build yourself out. And there's different types of exits, right? So the first exit would be to build yourself out of the org chart and then just become part of the board of directors. And then the second exit would be to build yourself out of the board of directors. And then the third type of exit would be to actually sell the organization. Mm-hmm. But what's interesting is a lot of people, they say, hey, I'm going to sell my company, and then they sell it, to whereas you want to experience at least one of those that first exit first before you sell it. Because if I can build myself out and show financials for 1 or 2 years, tax returns, and show financials for 1 or 2 years, and the revenue is still increasing and you haven't shown up, now that's a real business that everyone wants to buy.
Yeah.
And you're going to get rewarded in your multiple for that.
Wow. So in terms of building a team around you that can execute, right? You just talked about building yourself out, and you've got you and another CEO who are sharing that partnership and building this business. How do you execute building the right team around you to produce the way that you want to produce? Because I'm assuming, how many employees are you guys at right now?
We're close to 40.
So 40 employees. What's your strategy on finding the right people to do the job that you want them to? Not just from a training standpoint, because you can take someone on and train them. How do you find the right person right off the bat that you feel is the good fit to support you and your team?
So again, that all comes down to you have to reverse engineer what are their critical accountability bullets going to be?
Yeah.
What are they going to be responsible for? And then from there, what are the skill sets that would be in alignment with that, and the personality types that would be in alignment with that? And then from there, it's like a through line. It all starts with your ad copy when you're hiring. And you want to be very specific with what you're looking for, who you're looking for, who should apply, who shouldn't apply.
What do you look for then? Like, what are you personally? If you're sitting in front of me, like, what are you looking for in me?
Well, it depends on the position, but one of the most common hires that we're constantly doing is closers.
Yeah.
So we're constantly hiring closers and then setters, right? Appointment setters for the closers.
Yeah.
So if I'm hiring a closer, right, that's different than if I'm hiring a director of account acquisition. That's going to be different than if I'm hiring sales integrators and stuff like that, right? So you're always going to be looking for something different based on the skill sets and the personality types, based on what their critical accountability bullets are going to be. But for closers, the first thing we're looking for is, I'm a big believer in energy, right? So what is the energy that you put off in general, right? That's big. I'm looking at their sales IQ. Do they understand first principles of sales, right? And that's the biggest thing, because I could sell anything. I could literally sell anything because I understand first principles. I don't need any sales training or any product knowledge, because I'm not going to do anything different than I did when I was 19 years old selling timeshare. I'm not going to do anything different than I did when I became a real estate investor and was raising hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars for all of my deals from investors. I'm not going to do anything different than I was doing from stage, where I was able to sell over $200 million from stage over a period of time. It's all first principles. The product that you're selling just becomes a widget, and that just gets plugged into step 7, which is pitch personalization, right? So we have what we call 10 steps to a wire from a stranger, 10 steps to the sale. Yeah. Step 1 all the way to step 10. I'm going to use that framework in any sales presentation, regardless of the product. The only thing that's going to really change is step 7, the actual product that I'm pitching. And then in step 4, the discovery, I'll change the question types that I'm going to be asking based on the avatar of who that prospect is, right?
What are the other steps? You said there's 10. What are the principles?
So step 1 is pre-call connectivity. Okay, so once someone books a call, and this is big in sales because a lot of salespeople think that it's marketing's job to get them to show up. It's not. It's marketing's job to get them on your calendar.
Yeah.
Right? Get the lead. It's your job to make sure that they show up. And we're always targeting a 70 to 75% KPI for show rate with our sales reps. So one thing that really gets people to show up, you got to give them a reason to show up to the actual call. Because everyone's online right now and everyone's putting themselves in people's funnels and they're booking a lot of sales calls. There's so much information out there. And the way the algorithms work today is, let's say you're online and you click on an offer to learn how to buy businesses. Mm-hmm. Well, now the algorithm goes, oh, you want to learn how to buy businesses? They're going to put all the gurus in front of you, right? So they're part of they're booking a lot of different sales calls. Yeah. They're going through a lot of information. So the first thing is I want to start pre-call connectivity. I want to start building that rapport. I want to start showing them that I'm not a bot and that I'm different, right? And give them a reason to actually show up to the call. While at the same time, whatever our offer is, we have a template for this that we work on with the brands. Is we have them create a pre-call video. It's like a 10 to 15 minute video that builds a bunch of value and gets them excited to actually show up to the call. Yeah. So that pre-call is really just reaching out. Hey, Mike, how are you? This is Rye Guy with X, Y, and Z. La la. You're on my calendar tomorrow for 10:30. How's it going? Oh, I'm doing great. Hey, man, I don't want to take up a ton of your time. I know you're probably super busy, but I was just reaching out because I wanted to see, is there anything specific that you're looking to get out of the call, or anything you feel that would be important in your situation that would help me get better prepared so I can be super efficient for you? Yeah, X, Y, and Z, la, 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 la. Oh, that's awesome. Hey, and I see on your application too, you have 805 area code. Where's that? Oh, that's, Ventura. Oh, I love Ventura. Have you ever been to, right? So we're going to start we're going to start making
personal connection and trust right off the bat.
Personal connection and trust. Then from there, we're going to say, okay, great. Thanks for that information. Hey, one thing that's going to be super helpful if you can, did you get that video that we sent you? Okay, great. Make sure that you watch that before the call, right? Because really it's all about lead quality. And we're looking for, when we call a lead qualified, there's 3 pieces that make it qualified. The first piece is, are they financially qualified? The second piece is, what's their level of awareness of what you do and what you're selling? There's nothing worse than getting on a call with a bunch of people and they're like, why am I on this call? What do you guys do?
Yeah.
Right? And then the third piece is, are they in market? Like, what's their timeline to solve their challenge that they're dealing with, right? Because we're always going to figure out where their gap is, right? So step 1, pre-call connectivity, okay? Step 2 is when the actual call starts. Everything we do is on Zoom. All sales calls are on Zoom, so you still get that face-to-face connectivity. So it's kind of like being in person. It's not as good, but it's almost as good as being in person. And so step 2 is warm-up. So it's 3 to 5 minutes. We have a strategy for warm-up. Again, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Yeah. So the quickest way to get someone to understand that you care about them is to ask them questions that allow them to talk about themselves, their family, their pets, their hobbies, whatever it is. People love talking about themselves.
Sounds like a first date.
Exactly. There's an old saying: people are never bored when they're talking. They're only bored when you're talking.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. So get them to start opening up, start warming them up, because most people will show up to any type of sales call with what we call a wall of sales resistance. So what we're doing is we're starting to diffuse that with these initial steps, right? So step 2 is the warm up. Step 3 is the agenda statement. So now from there, what we're going to do is we're going to set the agenda. We're going to let them know why they're on the call, and how the call is going to go and what it all looks like. And we're also going to set up step 4, which is the discovery, right? So, hey, if it's okay with you, I'm not even sure if what we do could help you. And we know, what we do isn't for everyone. So if it's okay with you, I'm going to ask you some questions to kind of see where you're at right now and where you're seeking to go and where that gap is, to see if we can even help you with that or not. And if it looks like something that we think we could help you with, we'll move on to the next step where we'll actually show you what everything looks like. And then at that point, if it's resonating with you and it's in alignment, you can let us know and we'll go ahead and take the next steps and get you involved. If not, absolutely no worries. We'll just end the conversation at that time.
How many times does the conversation end at that time? What's the out of 10?
By the time you're done with the discovery, so typically the conversation is always going to end at the end of the discovery because it's a 2-part process and our calls are only a half hour.
Yeah.
But but based on that, then going into a demo, we have to, I'm trying to think of the best way to say this, like we have to make sure they have to earn the right to take up space on your calendar if you're going to do a demo, because you don't want a bunch of calendar bloat and sales of people that don't want to buy or aren't ready. Yeah. But there's things I can do in between calls to get them ready, right? It's assignment selling. So we have all kinds of video assets and things depending on the brand and the product that we can send them in between these calls to continue to bring them up the gradient. So then from there, it's so step 4, discovery. Then step 5 is the information confirmation. Take all the information you've gathered from them, confirm it so you have clarity in their mind, and then tie that into your first trial close. Yeah. That's when you're going to get into your first trial close right there. Then from there, it's the actual sales presentation. Then from there, it's trial close. Then going for the commitment. Then going for the enrollment.
Yeah, and that's 100% of the time. That's the path you guys follow. There's no variation. Depending on who's in front of you. Like, is there ways to divert from that path and that 10-step process with the people who are selling, or does it go down that path every single time?
So that's a great question, and that's one of the biggest things that comes down to adult babysitting and making sure that all your sales reps are following that path, because they'll constantly get lazy, and at the end of the day, they're costing themselves money and they're costing someone else, they're costing the brand money, they're costing us money because they're prejudging a certain scenario or whatever it is. But no, that's a proven process. That's an SOP. So I'm a firm believer in business in general. Everything is all about process, SOPs, and templates, and then you stick to it, because an SOP will basically, you do it this way every single time, no matter what period, if you want a predictable, dependable, and something that's repeatable. Yeah. Right? That way, if you fall off, you know why you're not selling. There's nothing worse than someone who veers from the path and has a great week, and now all of a sudden the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, they can't even talk their dog into taking a walk with them, right? They're just like in this slump, but they don't know why, because they don't know what they were actually doing that allowed them to be successful. They got lucky.
Do you find that, because, a lot of salespeople are type A personalities, do you find that when they come in, they have an attitude, not all, but some, that's, I can do it better, I can change what I'm saying to make it better, I'm going to veer? Or most people you're bringing on saying, this is a proven process, these guys have been doing it a long time, let me follow, or are they open to follow it?
100%, or they would, that's all part of our interview. We have like a rigorous interview process. Yeah. So that's all, we would be able to figure that out if they're coachable or not during that process. And then, now here's the deal, by the way, like you said earlier, hey, you're a guy that's always been, if someone can do it better than you, it's like, hey, if you can do it better than me,
teach me.
Show me. Let's do it. And we'll implement for a whole company. But that doesn't mean you come in from day one and do it. Prove that you're coachable, that you can follow our path and our systems. And then from there, let's talk about it. But show me some numbers first. Yeah. Right?
Did you have pushback to that early on in your career? Or were you someone that came into a company and did follow the path?
So what was interesting is, I followed the path, but the company I came into didn't really have much of a path. So I had to create my own. And I created these steps that I just went through back when I was 19.
Oh, those are yours. That's your process.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that was something that you developed. I thought.
And that's what's interesting about sales is it's all first principles. So someone else could have the same type of steps, but they call it something different or whatever it is, right? Yeah. But that was my path that I've been following literally for 30 years. Way.
And has it varied in that 30 years? Has there been changes along the way, or has that original creation kind of held together with little tweaks?
It's held together with little tweaks. The buyer has changed a lot, especially since 2020, 2021, 2022, especially with all these online offers, which is why there's such a big opportunity in the marketplace, because a lot of people that were successful in the coaching space or mastermind space, they're just suffering right now. Yeah. And so they have pain points, and that's where we come in because we've already pivoted. We understand why things are happening the way they are. And all these funnels that people are still trying to run, they're dead. They don't work anymore, but they don't know how to pivot. They don't know how to implement different types of funnels. They don't understand. They don't know how to pick up the revenue again. And so that's where we come into play because we do it. And what's very unique about our model is we're partners with so many different brands that we get to see all these things being tested across the industry. So it's like if you own a company, and that's it, you're only really limited to what you see going in your company. Mm-hmm. But if you are partners with 10, 15 plus brands, you get to see what's happening across 10, 15 plus brands, and you start to see patterns.
Sure, the analytics of it.
100%.
So you've developed this over 30 years, right? And this is a 10-step process, and that's a long path, a 30-year path. Looking back, like even when we're talking about it and you're thinking back to your early days, you're thinking about when you were 19, you're thinking about where you are now. What's something that you're most proud about on your entrepreneurial path or journey? Is there anything that stands out that really changed you, like one circumstance, one instance where a light bulb went off or maybe something happened but triggered, a real change in your career or a real change in your mindset? Is there any one situation, or has it been a build like a snowball going down the mountain, and as you've gone down, you've gotten bigger and bigger and bigger?
I think it's all the above.
Yeah.
Right? It's kind of been all the above, but I think for me probably the biggest, and I call them financial paradigm shifts. Yeah. Right? It's a paradigm shift that you have that creates a new perspective, that creates a whole new financial situation for you. Yeah. And so for me, that financial paradigm shift was what I was coming back to, is the more valuable you are to your business, the less valuable your business is, because we want to feel valuable. We want to be valuable. But what you don't realize is most people, they're hustlepreneurs. They're hustlers. So they're able to get to $1 million or a couple million a year based on them being hustlers, right? And they have to show up in order for everything to happen.
And they're losing their time.
They're losing their time. Yeah. They have to show up in order for this money to happen. They take time off. They don't show up. Well, what happens is, you've hit your ceiling now, because you can't scale past that. So the biggest paradigm shift I had was, holy shit, I'm the bottleneck to scale. Yeah. I'm never going to be able to scale this company to what I want if I don't have any transferable value and transferable knowledge. I need to make sure that someone else can come in and do this and get it done in every single aspect, every single department, to build myself out. And ultimately, once you take yourself out of the equation, that's when you can scale really fast.
And when did you figure that out? Was that at COVID, that switch?
No, I mean, that paradigm shift happened probably in 2012, 2013 from actually Than Merrill, spending a lot of time with him and really reading that book, The E-Myth, right? Technician, manager, entrepreneur. The way we do it is I say hustlepreneur, manager, crystal ball operator. Yeah. That's where you want to be. You want to be a crystal ball operator. But the whole process is I, we, them. Mm-hmm. You start out I am the business. I'm doing everything. Now what do? I got to start spending my time creating foundations, SOPs, checklists, systems, and training modules for everything. That way when I hire someone, it's really easy. All they do is follow the checklist. Hey, how do I do this? Oh, it's super simple. Just read the SOP. There's a training video on it, and then there's a checklist that you can download so you know every single step and you can't mess it up. Yeah. Right? That's the whole idea. And once you get to that point, now you've built yourself out. And by the way, that's a franchise model. Yeah. That's why franchises are so successful. And that's why a franchisee anywhere in the country
could do the same thing.
They can buy a franchise, and they're turnkey from day one because they're leveraging the proven systems, the proven SOPs, the marketing, all of those different things.
It's a massive shift and a positive one. Well, how about the other end of the spectrum, right? Every entrepreneur that I've ever met in my life, every successful one, has had dark days. Every one of them. And really dark. Like when you talk about swings with entrepreneurs, there are massive swings. There are $2 billion to $500 million in debt, right? In the matter of 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
Have you had any of those moments?
Oh yeah.
And like, can you talk about those moments and what they taught you and how you got through them and how they added to who you are as an entrepreneur today?
Oh yeah. It's funny you say that because I've always said being an entrepreneur, literally, like you go from the outhouse to the penthouse like 50 times a day.
Yeah.
Literally,
Yeah.
you're like, you think you're going bankrupt, and then all of a sudden something happens. You're like, dude, we're gonna cash in, and then you're going bankrupt, but then you're gonna cash in, right? It's like chicken poop to chicken soup, back to chicken poop, back to. It's like this whole thing, right? I think that's a huge part of entrepreneurship in general.
Do you like that part of it? Is there something, even though there's such an emotional swing and it's so draining, is there something addictive about that? You know, the risk of it. It's almost Vegas-esque, right? But not. It's more controlled, you know. But there's always an ability to lose everything. There's always an ability to win everything, right? And there's something addictive about that.
I think so. I think I would want to say no. I
Yeah.
don't like it.
Yeah.
But I think there's something in me that does like it because to me all the growth is when you're failing.
Yeah.
Right? There's not a ton of growth when you're on top of the world and everything's going amazing because you're just in a different mindset. But when the wheels have fallen off and you've gotten knocked down, right? That I feel like to me it's like, okay, this is what I wanted. I'm on my way there and I got completely knocked down. Why? Because I'm missing a valuable piece of information. I did something wrong. What was it? Identify that, create systems around it so it never happens again. And now that failure became a stair that you built in that staircase that allowed you to get even higher than you were before. So for me, I'm a firm believer that life isn't happening to us, it's happening for us.
Yeah.
And if you ask the right questions to yourself at the right time, you'll give yourself the right answers.
For sure.
And the challenge that I've noticed just being, you know, an entrepreneur and in the entrepreneur space and in the personal development space, and I've coached thousands of people through real estate and through personal development, all this stuff. What I've noticed is that people ask themselves shitty questions, so they give themselves shitty answers.
Yeah.
Right? Like, for example, why does this always happen to me? Why can't I figure this out? Why can't I? And then the brain goes, because you suck. Yeah. Because you're a failure. You come from a long line of failures. Yeah. Your parents failed. You're this, that. And change that question of why does this always happen to me? By changing that question just a little bit and going, why is this happening for me? I wouldn't have chose it. Why is this happening for me? What can I learn from it? How can I grow in this situation? You open the world up to all kinds, like different answers that are going to start coming to you. And you're going to start realizing why it's happening for you and what the positives are and how you're going to use it to grow. Yeah. And so for me, there is no failure unless you say, I'm done, I'm never going to do it ever again. But if you say, hey, I don't care how long it takes, I don't care how much it hurts, I don't care how many times I get knocked down, I don't care if I have people in my life that kick me. Yeah. When I'm down, I'm going to get up, I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to get it done and keep learning until it happens, period. Then you can't fail. Yeah. And you have to take the timeline out of there. It doesn't matter when it happens, and you can't be so attached to the result.
And was that learned in the experiences that you went through, or was that something you had to learn because of the experiences you were going through? Like, did you naturally have that instinct of asking yourself the right questions when you were at your low points as an entrepreneur? Or did you go through those like low points and go out and get coached and learn and then come back and say, all right, next time, here's how I'm approaching it?
Yeah, I think it's the latter. The low points is what it's interesting. Like, you're all of a sudden open to ideas or certain things or certain scenarios that you never would have been open to if you just didn't get punched in the throat as an entrepreneur. And you're just dude, my life's over if I don't figure this out, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You look at things differently. I've always been into personal development, personal growth. Like, even at 19 years old, I was driving to timeshare when I was just a sales rep, listening to Tony Robbins. Sure. You know what I mean? Things like that. I've always really dug that type of stuff. But I think too, there's a spirituality aspect that you can bring to entrepreneurship. It's kind of like tree hugging capitalism. You know, it's kind of one of those things. And I think I think again, if you're open, if you're willing to surrender to the flow, zero resistance, everything you ever want is going to come to you.
Yeah.
But you also have to be open to the fact that it might not look the way you think it's supposed to look. It might not feel the way you think it's supposed to feel. It might not sound the way it's supposed to sound.
But it's the right fit for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you have this idea of what it's supposed to be. You have to just let go of that. Mm-hmm. Let go of the rope. Like, that's an exercise I do a lot where I'm caught up on something. I can feel resistance in me towards something. And then I'll see myself holding onto a rope, and I'll see myself just letting go. Yeah. And I'll tell myself, just let go of the rope. Just go with the flow. Yeah. Don't resist. Just go with the flow and see where it takes you. Yeah. And ask the right questions. So yeah, I think the bottom, being at the bottom has definitely opened my mind. But it's all about, what are you putting in your operating system?
Yeah. And then when you're at the top, right, that's the bottom, and that's enough fuel and motivation you need when you need to climb out, right? Mm-hmm. When you're at the top, right, you're at a high point right now in your life. You've been doing it a long time. You're successful. How do you stay motivated then? Like, what do you do on a day-to-day basis? Like, I know what I do, right? I create these almost false chips on my shoulder, and I always have, and I don't know if that's necessarily healthy, right? Mm-hmm. But I did that in sports. Even in my best game, I would create some chip on my shoulder for the next one. Mm-hmm. What do you do to stay motivated when you're cranking on all cylinders and you have a successful company and you've got a good life?
I think...
do you need to stay motivated? Or are you just motivated, right? Maybe you don't need to stay.
Yeah, I don't even know if motivation is the right word for me, because it's just all about, you have two choices. You're either going to do it or you're not going to do it. You're going to have a victim mentality, or you're going to have the responsible mentality, right? Taking responsibility for everything that happens. You're either going to point the finger this way every single time, or you're going to turn the finger around and look in the mirror and go, no. What part did I play in this? How can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? But that being said, just like you, I have my rituals. I have my daily rituals.
I have rituals?
I think you do. I think you have a couple, right? Like
scheduled
a couple
dinners.
A week, maybe.
Scheduled dinners. We have pasta every Monday. Hey. Steaks every Tuesday. Yeah, I'm a ritual structure
nachos
guy. Every night. Yeah, I do. Healthy nachos.
Healthy nachos, of course. And you would never be one macro over.
I wouldn't be one. No, not 1 gram of cheese over the 17 grams of cheese that I shred on there.
Grams of cheese you need at that time.
I do. 35 grams of chips. Yeah, I do.
You know the deal.
So at this point, you don't need that motivation then, right? Like, you've created a life where you're just self-motivated. I guess motivation would come in situations as well, right? Like, if situations present themselves, then they create the motivation for you to pivot or dig in or keep going where your direction is. But has there been points in your entrepreneurial career where you needed motivation and you had to make shifts?
Oh, for
sure. And where did you draw that motivation?
It's interesting because there's times, and it happens to me, when you're building something big, it's hard, and you're getting slapped in the face a lot. I'm getting slapped in the face daily. Like, we're going through some serious growing pains. When you're scaling this fast, you can't avoid it, right? And so there's times where I'll get into a mode where I feel sorry for myself, and I kind of get victim-y. And I'll puke on my business partner, or he'll puke on me about something, right? Whatever it is. But what's interesting is I've gotten to a point, I'll allow myself to be that way for 20 minutes. Yeah. And I'll just feel it, and I'll be that way, and I'll be the victim, knowing that I'm going to bounce out of it. And then after 20 minutes, it's like I naturally kind of bounce my way out of it. But there's definitely certain scenarios where I lean on my wife, and I'll bring kind of something to her and just say, hey, what do you think? Or I'll try to... Because she's very emotionally stable. Yeah. And she's very emotionally evolved.
Wonderful woman, Shannon.
She's a badass.
She really is. She always has been. I've known her since I was 14. Yeah.
Talk about I think she would be a really good podcast. And she has an elite mindset, because she was, elite gymnast training for the Olympics, right? That's you got to think and act a certain way for that type of stuff. But I think she's been really helpful along that journey as well. But I also think I've been in a position for a long time where a lot of people are depending on me and my company. Yeah. And so I think that's probably some undercover motivation as well, to just make sure that I'm not letting people down,
And you talk about your wife and your family, right? How has your drive or your motivation or your ability to build a business changed since having a family, right? Because I got a 6 and a 5-year-old. It's a different ball game in terms of like time management, in terms of not bringing your emotions home, right? That's a big thing, which I always could do before, was like, you have a bad day, you come home, you do what you want, you can say what you want, you can scream in the kitchen, you can punch a hole through the wall. It doesn't matter, dude. But you got 2 kids who are impressionable looking up to you, and you're building what you're building on the scale that you're building it. How do you buffer that? Because you're a great dad, right? And Shannon's a great mom. You're a great husband, right? You've learned, in my perspective from watching you the times I've had, you've learned an ability to buffer that. How do you do it though? Like, I just see the finished result. Like, what do you do mentally?
That's an interesting question, and you asked that question in a way like I'm a master of it, and I don't necessarily think I am. You know what I mean? But
you're very balanced. I would say
Definitely.
from the outside looking in, like very balanced as a father and a husband and a business owner, and in your life, in your health, in your wellness. Like, there's a definite balance there.
for sure. I think I'm also a really good actor.
Okay.
And I'm also a believer that, like, if you think and act a certain way long enough,
It becomes real.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You'll start emulating it, right?
Yeah.
Kind of that whole thing. Like, so I think, like, even in those moments, I think even if I'm like melting down inside, I'm really good at not showing it,
Yeah.
which isn't super healthy, right? Because all that stuff can fester inside and can build up. And I think that's where a lot of your practices are going to come into play, right? Like the meditation, obviously movement, right? Working out movement,
Huge.
that's something that's huge. And then what are you putting in your body?
Yeah.
I think that's a huge thing
It's
too,
one of the
because
biggest.
most people don't realize that your gut is connected to your brain through the vagus nerve, and this is your second brain. It has the same amount of neurotransmitters as a dog's brain, right?
Yeah.
And so what people don't realize is what you eat is determining how you think. And that's a different concept, right? Because when you look at most people's nutrition and you look at people that have anxiety and they're depressed, their nutrition is not on point at all. And they used to think that serotonin was actually made in the brain, but they've realized it's made in the gut, and it travels up from the gut to the brain through the vagus nerve. So if you're not in homeostasis, then you're creating these chemical loops that are hard to get out of, as far as anxiety, depression, thought processes that just keep circling and circling. And I also noticed when I really started focusing on health, because I've always been into health, but what's interesting is in the last probably 6 or 7 years, what I thought was actually healthy, I've realized wasn't actually that healthy.
Yeah, there's an evolution, absolutely, within health and wellness. Within me, too.
100%.
I mean, even what I was doing 3 years ago, like, I'm constantly finding new ways and implementing new things and keeping the things that work and pushing out the things that I used to do that I thought were effective, but I didn't get the results that I'm getting now. So I agree 100%.
Yeah.
I've always been very confused at that disconnect of what you put, people don't understand on a deeper level of what you put in really drives you. Like, I remember I was at a gas pump like a month ago, and I saw someone, and no judgment, right, who was very overweight and had a nice car, and they were putting 91 in their car. And I'm like, well, you're putting the best gas in your car because you know it's a great engine. It's a nice car. Like, how are you not doing the same thing for yourself, right? How are you not putting in the right fuel so that you can run on high octane and hit the gas pedal? And especially in our country, man, there's such a disconnect over the last, 40 to 50 years. When you see these old pictures of like beaches and like Huntington Beach everyone's lean.
No seed oils. There was no
seed oils. Fast food hadn't taken over, the ease, or at least not.
Even fast food, they were cooking in tallow. McDonald's was cooking in tallow. Tallow and salt was the ingredients in the fries and potatoes.
Shift.
Now it's like 50 different ingredients.
GMO,
right?
All these different things. Like, it's hard. And it's also hard to talk to people about that, right?
100%.
Because people are very defensive and they like their lifestyles and they like things that are easy. And eating good is not easy. I don't think it is. It's expensive and it takes time.
It does. And I also think it's a lack of education.
That as well.
and they don't want to learn. It's that cognitive dissonance because now your whole life's kind of been a lie if you actually take the time to start learning it.
Yeah.
Right. And I think, it's interesting, right? It's everything we do in life is to gain a feeling or avoid a feeling. Mm-hmm. That's it. It's pain or pleasure.
Yeah.
That's everything. People will do more to avoid pain than gain pleasure. That's human psychology. So I think a lot of times what happens is the pain of making a change and changing their diet and changing all those things in their mind is greater than the pain of how they feel now, maybe being overweight.
Yeah.
It's like that example of someone who they smoke cigarettes, they chain smoke cigarettes, and they know they want to be healthier and they want to start running and all these things, but they just can't do it. They can't quit smoking because the pain of quitting in their mind is more than how they feel now and the gain of maybe gaining a little health. Then they go to the doctor, and the doctor goes, hey, look, we did some heart tests. You're going to die if you don't quit smoking cigarettes. And they don't even think about it. Cold turkey. Yeah. Bam. Why? Because now all of a sudden the pain of dying became greater than the pain of stopping.
Yeah.
And what they have to go through. And I think if you understand that too, you can neuro-linguistically program your brain and start switching what's more painful to get you to be motivated and do things in a certain way.
Yeah, and what you're taught too, right? What an advantage your kids have and my kids have. And I do really believe in this. I think some people just aren't taught how to eat. From the moment that they're born, their parents are taking them to McDonald's, or they're getting a Big Gulp, or they're getting this, or they're getting that. And those were rewards. We didn't eat perfectly as a kid, but we ate healthy, and we were rewarded once in a while to do it. And that's all right, right? Mm-hmm. Everyone deserves a reward. How is implementing that into your kids' lives? Have they taken to a healthier lifestyle? Is that all they know? Do you see differences in them with the way that they eat?
100%.
Yeah.
And man, I think that and screens is the hardest freaking part of parenting.
God, I can't imagine screens. We're not there yet with our kids because they've never been on a laptop. We give them some TV, but when they're your kids' age, it's a different story.
And it's interesting because you can shield them until that certain age when they're in sports and everyone's bringing it to this, but the coaches are bringing all the stuff.
And all their friends are on it.
Exactly. And our kids go to Liberty, they're just giving them so much crap
the worst.
all day
it's
long.
It's the worst,
right?
the candy that's handed out at school. It's my nightmare.
And then there's that fine...
Shannon warned me of that too. She goes, it's good. But Mike, they give out a lot of candy during the day on events. I was like, what? Yeah. And sure enough, that first year I was like, my kid rarely ever eats candy, you know? And there's days where there's just like a basket in the middle of the classroom.
Yeah, and there's that fine balance though, right? Because you don't want them to be these psychopaths
when
you're not around and they're just binging all this stuff. But so it's interesting because I think it's one of those things where, our kids are always like, you guys are so boring, and why does it have to be organic, or why can it this or that, or why can't I have it, and all these things. But then years later, you'll notice, like, I'll hear them talking to someone else about something. Like the other night, like my son with one of his friends, he's like, have you ever had grass-fed filet?
Such a win.
Yeah, and I was like, and he's like, no, I've never had it. He's like, in raw butter melted. And he's like, it's a superfood. It's so good for you. It makes you stronger. You're a better athlete. And I was like hearing it.
Win.
And I was like, dude, that is a huge win because he wouldn't say that to me.
No.
You know what I mean?
No, of course not.
He was not going to say that to me.
He's not going to give you the bone. He's not throwing you a bone, dude. No.
Not at all. Not at all.
Do you also implement, because being an entrepreneur, building businesses, this whole lifestyle you've chosen is so much a part of you, of who you are. Have you implemented that into your kids' life? Have you taught them aspects of being an entrepreneur and walking? Would you want them to walk that path? 100%. I guess that's the first question, right? Do you want them to follow that path?
100. I mean, obviously, I'm going to support them in any way that they want to go.
Yeah.
But you're talking to someone that never went to college and barely graduated high school.
Yeah.
And you're also talking to someone who is, I've been called a conspiracy theorist for a large period of my life. So all the systems.
You do your research.
All the systems and all that stuff.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But that being said, we teach them about, so we've been teaching about real estate from day one. I have videos of my daughter at 2 years old talking about how she wants more passive income and
well, you
things
used to do a
like
thing with
that.
the piggy bank. I remember you would put in,
Yep.
and you're like, if it sits in there long enough, then you're going to earn this. It was almost like a take on
100%.
interest early on
And
in
then
earnings.
and then borrowing from the piggy bank and paying them back plus interest. And then
Yeah,
just in
which was a
private
really
money loan,
smart thing.
things
Yeah.
like that. Yeah. So yeah, and then also just like saying, hey, my daughter competes in horses. She loves horses. It's like, hey, you want to be able to ride horses your whole life?
Yeah.
You need to create income streams,
Yeah.
right? You need to create income streams that you don't have to actually show up.
Yeah.
That's the key, because then you can do whatever you want, right? When we drive by our rental properties in Petaluma, we're always like, hey, that's going to be yours, and the reason it's cool is because you're going to be collecting checks, this and that, and really teaching them kind of those type of things. But really what I've been like most focused on, Shannon and I, is from day one is master sales. That's what we always have told our kids. Become a master of sales, because that means you're a master of communication.
Yeah.
And if you can become a master of communication, you can do anything you want.
For sure.
You can build anything that you want.
Yeah.
You really can.
Well, here's an interesting component, though, that I was thinking of actually on the drive over here. You've said your background, right? You barely graduated high school. You didn't go to college. I've met your parents. They're great people. You didn't have everything growing up. You've earned a lot, and you've provided one hell of a life for your kids, which every father who earns and works hard would. Do you think there's a way to create that same drive in entrepreneurship and sales, even though they've had, I don't want to say an easy life, but they've been given more? Like, you have a natural hunger because of your upbringing. That's part of it, right? It's not just who you are, but you were here and you knew that you wanted to be here and you were taking a path there. And that came through hard work, entrepreneurship, ingenuity, and all these things. That's a lot tougher with kids who live in a really nice house, who take trips with their parents, who eat grass-fed fillets. How do you take that on as a parent? Because I tackle with that all the time. Do I give my kid this? Do I not? Do I make them earn this? Do I not? Do we take all these trips, or do we regulate it to just a couple? What's your take on that? Because I literally wrangle with that on a daily basis with my kids. Do you think there's a way to do both, to provide everything and create the environment that you would have wanted as a kid, yet still create a drive in those kids that when they're out of the nest, they have that drive to go on their own path? It's a hard question.
Yeah, it's hard, man. It's like, it's just, parenting is hard as shit,
man.
Dude.
It's
hard.
hard.
It is hard as shit, man.
It is.
It's like it's all these things that no one ever told you, right?
Totally.
You're like, man, this is hard. But I think it goes back to what I was saying before, just trying to surrender to the flow, right? Because there's just you could create these paradigms around so many things. Am I doing too much? Am I not doing enough? Am I this? Am I that? And I don't know. My wife and I really try to feel our way through things instead of always think our way through things. Use our inner guidance system, and just, if it feels in alignment, move forward. If it doesn't, don't. But I also think, once they're 18, I'm cutting their ass off. So
is that your strategy? Is when they're 18?
We'll semi-cut.
Well, you pay for your education. Like, if you want to go to college, you go to college.
We'll make it more challenging. To where they have to participate in life probably a little more to maintain good food or maintain good trips or whatever it is. I think once you have something and then all of a sudden you realize, oh crap, that was because of my parents. I want that. I think there can be some drive there as well. But man, my kids are so driven. I don't think there's going to be an issue there.
That's great.
My kids are really, really driven. My son he's really been into money. He's always been into making money.
Sports. He works on sports. When I'm over there, he's shooting outside. I mean, that's a great sign. Yeah.
He never stops.
I mean, that's amazing quality. That's going to be taken on to any job.
And he has all his whole sport card portfolio that he's been doing.
I know. I saw it. Gunner's grilled me on the way home. Why is this like 1/100th of? He's like, bro, he's got all the cards. It's like, well, that's what he's into. And he's earning it, and he's buying them, and he's leveraging one to get another one.
And then he goes to all the trade shows, and the trade nights,
it's
and
a
he
business.
trades, and he's negotiating.
That's great.
And
I love that as a kid.
And it actually is a business, because a lot of these cards, it's just like real estate. You buy and hold them. You want to buy low and then sell high. It's the same thing, and you're investing into certain players because as they're getting better and putting up better stats, the card goes up. And then what do? You could sell it and then invest into someone else that's at the bottom that's going to be going up. So it's like, they're learning all these principles, and then it's actually really cool. You know, at these trade shows, I take my son to these card trade shows, and I just sit back and I watch him negotiating. And it's awesome, man. He's such a good negotiator, and it's very natural to him.
Yeah.
And it's cool because he's negotiating with all adults, and at the end they're just like, you know what? Okay, I'll do that because you're just a 10-year-old kid, and he just lays them out, you know?
Dude, I used to love that as a kid. And Joe Wright, if you're out there, I had a buddy named Joe Wright. His parents called my parents in 3rd grade and said he can no longer trade cards with me because I was just working out, dude. I'd come with like 3 bench warmers and leave with Mickey Mantle, you know? And it got so bad, his parents literally called my parents over like, Mike is not allowed to trade baseball cards with Joe anymore. But what a cool component and learning aspect of collection, of sales, of negotiating, of what you want to keep, what you can let go, what means something to you, what doesn't mean something to you. There's so many life lessons within that. I think.
Also, too, like, oh, yeah, dude, I sold this card at the card shop. Oh, you did? Well, how much did you sell it for? Yeah. Oh, I sold it for this amount. How much did you buy it for?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
You don't remember?
Yeah.
So
you're at a loss,
So
my
you
son.
don't know if you made money or you lost money.
Yeah.
No, I don't. You know, and having those conversations, well, you know, you want to be profitable. Do you know what that means?
Yeah.
Well, what does it mean? You know, and just some of these little conversations sometimes that you only get to have for like 60 seconds because they're so distracted. But you know it over the years, I've just noticed certain little things where I'm like, where I didn't think I was making an impact in that way.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you notice, okay, I have because of something they said.
Yeah, I'm hard on myself with parenting. I'm parenting, like you just said. I mean, there's nothing harder. I mean, I had a podcast on Tuesday, and there was 2 individuals. One's pregnant, 8 months pregnant, 6 months pregnant. We were talking about kids, and I told them that every night I take a shower at night. Right, I do every single night.
Before or after nachos?
After. No,
Okay.
actually, yes, after.
Really?
Yeah, I go after because I right to that to bed, right? And it's like this, it's this detached for me. It's a system where I walk into that water and then like my brain naturally starts to turn off and then I shift to bed. But every single night I get in that shower, I take 5 minutes and I think about what I did right and wrong as a parent. The majority of days, I would have corrected something I did. There's nothing else in my life that I can analyze where the vast majority of my participation, I would have changed or manipulated something in some way. And parenting, I make mistakes constantly. Not massive mistakes, not life-altering mistakes, but things I would have done differently. There's nothing I've faced in life that's even come close to the complexity of being a parent. And balancing 2 kids with different emotion who are different people while being married, while dealing with your own life, right? All these different components. It's been unbelievable. I mean, it really has. And it's taught me more than any business. It's taught me more than any job. It's taught me more than any education, any book I've ever read on a daily basis. How has your wife helped you in that entire process? Not only with parenting, but with your path as an entrepreneur. Because she has been, Shannon to me is a balancer, right? She's like, when you have an energy here, she can come in and bring you back to the middle point. That's just a natural gift she has.
100%.
You're like, what has she done for you throughout your career and throughout your your life as a parent?
I mean,
and husband.
Well, she's the rock of our family.
Yeah.
100%. She's an insane mom. It's crazy to just sit back and kind of watch. And then, it's also interesting too because she, like, for example, she just got back after 5 days girls trip, going to see music and the little thing because she's a free bird. She's got to go spread her wings and so I have to be the entrepreneur and daddy daycare as well. And that's when you start to realize how good she is. You're like, whoa, she is amazing.
Help.
Totally. Even my son was like, the house isn't as clean as
lunches haven't been as good the last 3 days. Totally.
But so she's just amazing at what she does. But like I said, she's one of her qualities is she's very emotionally stable.
Yeah, she is.
And she's not needy at all.
Yeah.
She doesn't need anything, and she can stand on her own 2 feet. She doesn't need anything from anyone. Very emotionally stable. And she has really solid intuition. Mm-hmm. And so as far as an entrepreneur and all these different things, like I've just learned to, when she's feeling really intuitive about something, I just go with the flow on it, because she has a really good track record in being right.
She's earned your trust over the years.
100%. Yeah. But she's also we started the real estate business together, and then she wanted to tap out and be a full-time mom.
Yeah.
And so now we're actually, we acquired through a consulting for equity deal, a mobile gymnastics company.
Oh, cool. Which is her wheelhouse.
It's totally her wheelhouse, which is crazy scalable, right? It goes to preschools and teaches for a half hour at a time, and it's a really solid revenue income stream, and it's the parents love it, the teachers love it because they get a break. Yeah. Anyway, so she's plugged into that, and she's helping scale that right now, while at the same time building herself out to get more into the account acquisition side of things. But she's an entrepreneur at heart, and so she's and
a salesperson at heart.
She's a sales. She's a closer.
Yeah. She'll sell me on getting a beer at Fish,
but she's not trying to.
Yeah, she's like, come on. I mean, you gotta be thirsty. You've been dancing for 15 minutes. Like you're thirsty.
She's not
right?
trying to. Like we would even in sales, because I met her in sales. I was her manager, right? And she never looked at her numbers. All the guys, they're like, "What are my numbers?" She never looked at them. She would just cruise around, and she would just close massive amounts of business. And then you ask her how to do it, she's like, "I just homie out with them." Yeah. Yeah, but what are you doing? I don't know.
Talking to them.
I just homie out with them, right? That's like her deal. So yeah, she's but again, training for the Olympics.
Yeah, early life experience.
In my opinion, and she always says, and she even says it today, like when we're watching playoff basketball, she's like, when you get to the elite level of anything, everyone's there because they're elite, right? They're all elite. Yeah. Anyone has the ability to be the standout. Physical ability. The person that actually stands out or gets the credit is when it really matters in those moments and the pressure's on. Can they perform?
The mindset of it.
It's all the mindset. Sure. It's all the mental reps and the mindset around it.
That Kobe, that killer. So that's a perfect transition for the last question. Like 30 years from now, you are 76. You're with your wife. You're sitting on a beach in Costa Rica in Nosara with a margarita.
Passion fruit margarita.
Ooh. Looking back, what's going to define success? You've already had a successful life up to this point, but that's 30 years from now. You're going to keep building. You're going to keep being a dad, keep being a husband. In 30 years, at 75, and you're looking back, what will define success to you?
Man, that's a really good question, because I feel like as you get older, your perspective shifts, and you look at success differently, right? To me, like I used to think success was how much money you made, right? Growing up. Then I got to a point where I realized success isn't how much money you make, it's how much money are you making without trading any time and showing up, right? Then from there, I started realizing success is everything other than money, right? And so the way I look at everything is I call it like a wealth wheel. If it was like a pie graph, because you can be wealthy in all different areas of your life. You can be wealthy in currency. You can be wealthy in your mind. You can be wealthy in your body. You can be wealthy in your relationships, right? To me, I think looking back, for me to say that I was successful, it's going to be, how many lives was I able to impact? I love helping people and making that impact, but really it's the balance. How much balance was I able to create? But I'll tell you one thing, at 76, at 96, I want to be in the same shape that I am today, because I just want to live the same type of life and enjoy. And I think, to me, I'll be successful if I can still participate in all the things that I want to do, and be able to travel and really just enjoy,
Yeah,
that's really
a great
what it's
answer.
all about for me.
Well, buddy, it was great having you in. I've always looked at you as a good friend and a mentor.
Too,
I've always been proud of what you accomplish, on a day-to-day basis. And where can people find you? Anyone who's listening, WFS Group, anyone that has a business.
Kind of hard to find. Yeah. Kind of hard to find these days. I'm on the low key.
Yeah.
But I'm on Instagram.
Yep.
Ryan Burk. RYGUY.
And there's two Rye Guy Burks, because there's someone who knocked you off, and there's like 15,000 followers.
No, there's actually there's more. Dude, do you know that One of those people got someone for like 35 grand.
I heard. You told me that. Yeah. Crazy. Don't send money to anybody on Instagram, guys.
No.
Yeah,
Please.
moral of the story.
Do not
Good
send
Lord.
money to someone's crypto portfolio.
No, it's never a good idea. Yeah. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for taking the time. I really appreciate it.